So this is a town hall setting. This is not a debate. So in this time, I'm going to ask a few questions. We're going to do county clerk first. We have one candidate that's running for county clerk that was able to come tonight, and it is Bryson.
Alrighty. Thanks for coming, everybody, to this great Meet the Candidates night. My name is Bryson Bem. I'm running for county clerk, and I've been a lifelong resident here in Cache County. My dad, he was raised up north in Richmond and North Logan, and my mom was raised down south in Hiram. And then they decided to meet in the middle, and I'm from Logan. Went to Logan High, Ellis, Mount Logan, and I graduated from Utah State in a degree in political science and economics. And my professional career, I used to be the deputy clerk here and the chief deputy clerk auditor. I'm the only candidate with election administration experience. I have managed the 2022 midterm primary and general and the 2021 primary and general for the municipal elections. I also worked in the 2020 election. I didn't manage that, but I did learn a lot of experience from there as well. Let's see, what else is there? I'm really excited to help the clerk's office. It's kind of a little unsteady right now with a vacancy, but I'm really excited to get back in there and just kind of bring more stability and to the office. So, all right, thank you.
Please explain what the clerk does.
Yeah. So the clerk is kind of the record, well, not kind of, it is the record keeper of the county. So we have all the records for like county ordinances, county resolutions. We also keep the record of all the county contracts and marriage licensing as well. Then there's the election side of it, kind of the big one. We are in charge of every single election now, from municipals and to our general election. We are the ones who mail you the ballots. We are the ones who count your ballots. We are the annoying ones who send you a letter if your signature doesn't match. And we're also the clerk of the council. So we help them take minutes of the meeting and whatever the council wants us to do. So.
How are you going to better the relationship with the county council?
Yeah. Previously, I did have a good working relationship with the county council. I was friendly and they were friendly back to me. I think the big thing is just when the council has a question, you answer it. And always just be a good listener too. Because when you kind of ignore the county council, that's when they start kind of being more investigative or just trying to understand what's happening in that office. Having an open dialogue is always the best way to kind of work with the county council, as well as just in any normal workplace. If you're hush-hush about everything you do, everyone's going to think you're secretive, right? So even with other county departments, because their clerk does involve with almost every single department in the county, whether it be contracts or if they need a resolution or ordinance looked up for them. And, always have a good demeanor, always have a smile on your face. Disagree, but, don't get hostile about it. So, yeah.
Is there anyone who would like to ask any questions? I'm going to bring a mic to you. Let's switch mics.
Okay.
So I'll just set this one down. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Just don't push the button at the bottom.
Bryson, you were for nearly all over the complete transition of the election center, from scratch to what it was when you were part of those elections. And if you could say something about how that all came together and how that really, your budget that went into that. I don't know how much of that budget side of it you were involved in at the time, but and what it is today.
Yeah. So, back in 2020, can you guys hear me okay with this?
We better get back to this.
Okay. All right. So back in 2020, The election that was ran, it was a large election, of course. It was a presidential primary, and the county is relatively large. The current setup that we had was a little cramped, and we wanted something bigger. We did get it's called HAVA funding from the state. So it's a grant that the federal government gives the state to help America vote. The HAVA stands for Help America Vote Act. So what we did was we used that funding from the Lieutenant Governor's office, and we helped renovate the old search and rescue building out by the airport, if anyone knows where that is. With that, we made it more secure with security cameras and locks and chains and cages, sorry. And then we had a more open space that we can help streamline the process. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you currently work in the county clerk's office?
I currently do not work in the county clerk's office. I left the office at the end of July of 2023. I left the office, well, I ran for the special election, and then I lost, unfortunately. And I decided, like maybe this is kind of a sign, kind of turn the page of my life and, work elsewhere. And then I wasn't planning on running for county clerk until December, where we saw 3 employees that were put on administrative leave and 1 who put himself on administrative leave. And then when I saw that happen, and then after that, and then the report from Lieutenant Governor's audit that 31 things were awry about the election, I decided that since I have the experience to administer elections would be the best for me and for the county. That was the main thing I want to do, is to help the county.
Any other questions?
Last year, June of 2023, the Cache County Central Committee passed a resolution urging the county council to return us back to the system that we had before the machines. The NRC, the National Republican Committee, 2 months later, passed a resolution, the same, 10 resolutions actually, are urging the same thing, returning us back to a precinct, voting by precinct, paper ballots, voter ID, and the machines, I guess my question is, how do you respond to those who say, me included, the machines are black boxes that you can't see into? The state has an audit process. What it does is it reads the ballot. You can see the dot on the ballot image, but the audit does not tell you how the machine counted the vote. In addition, there's mail-in ballots. You don't know who signed that envelope. There's no way to validate that.
Bryson, how do you feel about the integrity of our election?
The elections that I have managed and administered, I have great confidence in the results of that election. We are always open to having the clerk's office and even come check the election yourself as a poll watcher. We also have these tests called logic and accuracy tests that we run the machines before ballots are mailed out. With that test, we have what we call a test deck, and the office ourselves, we fill out those ballots so we know exactly what the result's going to be. We then run those ballots through the machines, expecting what result that we know should happen. And then if it doesn't match up, then that's when we know there's something awry. But if that does match up, we are good. Those tests are also public. So this entire room can come to a logic and accuracy test and watch those machines pass through ballots to double check. We always have a public there because we need a public signature for that form that we send to the Lieutenant Governor's office, and it should be never a private event. With the signatures, we do have a machine that just takes a picture of your signature and then a barcode that's associated with your voter registration, so that we compare that signature with human eyes with whatever signature you have related to your voter registration. So it could be something from your driver's license or a physical voter registration form. I prefer the voter registration forms because those electronic signatures are terrible. If those signatures don't match, we then put it off to the side and do a more thorough check of that signature. Everybody has their nice fancy signature, and then everyone has their check signature that's super fast and whatever. We go in there, and then we can compare all the signatures that we have from you as a voter, and then we can determine, see if that signature matches with any of those. If that signature does not match with any of those, then you'll get a letter from our office saying, hey, we got your ballot. The signature that we received did not match yours. Are you for sure sending this ballot correctly as yours? If it is, please sign this signature, this packet, and send it back to us so we confirm that. That ballot is not counted until we get that letter back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Rogers has withdrawn from the county clerk election. Sebastian is running for the formal one in November, but he is the only candidate in the special election that will be happening in a few weeks. We're an hour ahead of time. You're welcome to give a couple of final words before we move on.
Oh, perfect. I want to end with experience matters. We need someone in that office who understands that election process and how to administer an election. The staff currently has only been technically been through one election, 2 elections, some of them, and they don't have the adequate training to keep on going. I have that training, and I'm committed to training them correctly, that we can have a more secure and efficient election process. I have I have many certifications from the state with this election process. I've been to so many trainings nationally and here locally at the state, and I can understand all the pressure points when it comes to election security. I am committed to a full term. I'm not going to quit on you guys, and I'm here to make the county and the clerk's office a better place. We need a lot of more stability in that office and someone who can get the job done.
Thank you, Bryson.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
being
you.
here. Yes, sir.
So, with what's coming up, you will assume both jobs, correct?
Yeah, we'll assume both the clerk and auditor.
In November is when it divides, and then we will put in place a clerk and an auditor separately.
Is it closed?
No?
Process,
It's not yet closed.
you said so.
For the special election, it's not closed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, for the other one, it was closed in January.
Special election.
And just
Come on,
to
Chris.
clarify,
No.
he's the only candidate that has put himself forward for the special election. That's what you said, okay.
Sebastian Liu is put his name in for the November election, but not for the special election.
Question about
Yes.
Bryson, would you still be in favor for those of us who want to opt out of the mail-in ballots?
100%. I think there's currently a form on the county clerk's website that you can opt out to not be mailed to you in a ballot, but then you will be able to vote in person. And thanks for bringing that up, because there's only one in-person voting location right now in the county, and the county is way too big to just have one. I want to expand that. We've got to look at the budget to see, just understand the intricacies of it all, but I want to expand it to like a north, south, or central, and hopefully into like a precinct basis with volunteers. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. You mentioned that you feel 100% confident with the elections you've overseen. We hear so much about Utah in general not being a very highly rated state, as far as the processes they use. And then I don't see a lot of information on which machinery exactly we rely on. And do we use any of the questionable?
We don't use Dominion, if that's what you're asking. Salt Lake County uses Dominion, if I remember correctly. We use, it's what's ES&S. Yeah. So it's like the DS400, we have two DS400 machines, and then what we call a mail ballot verifier, which is that signature machine.
And I know they have the accuracy test and that they've been proven to malfunction.
Correct, but we also have what we call, I gotta double check what it's called, but we have another audit with the state, and I want to say it's like a dash audit, or when it comes to the computers, I gotta double check what that means. Well, but they give us a certain like code, and then we send them their code, and we don't know what code they have, but we send them what our like computer dashes or whatever they have, and then they compare it to see if what they have.
I don't think anyone here really understands that very well.
Yeah.
But I think everybody here probably has a little bit of doubt as far as nationally for sure, state possibly, and locally.
And I understand.
A lot of places around the country are going to
Paper ballots. And
what's your position on that? Is that something you'd want to do, or are you just against that?
I'm not against paper ballots or in-person voting whatsoever. We kind of do have our hands tied here in the state just because it is a state law that we're primarily vote by mail. But like I mentioned before, you can easily opt out of that mail-in ballot, right, that form, personally, and then we won't mail you a ballot and you can vote in person.
Let's take one more and then we're gonna switch to attorney.
What is the comparative cost of mail-in ballot versus in-person voting? Cost per ballot?
I have to double check, but right now, mailing, the price of postage, as we all know, just keeps on going up and up and up, right? So that is the big issue when it comes to pricing. I was not around when there was more in-person voting, so I would not know the price point of that. But when elected, I definitely will look into it and to see what's cheaper.
Just a relative thing to that, because it's not only how much it costs, but how many people participate. I understand that we've had way higher participation in mail-in ballots than in person. If we have more people voting, we're getting more of the people vote.
Yeah, so she was talking about voter participation and how voter participation is a lot higher with mail-in balloting than it is in person, which is true. For this, because you get it mailed the ballot, you don't have to, make plans to vote in person. Unless they move election day as a federal holiday that no one has to work, and then you'll be able to. That's something I'm in favor of. But like I said, it's a state law. We'll process the ballot how the state law wants us to. Mail-in balloting does have more voter participation, but at the same time, there are costs to it, and even personal costs. Like people like the camaraderie of voting in person, getting that I voted sticker with their neighbors. But there's also people like convenience as well. So.
Thank you, Bryson. We
Yeah.
appreciate